Hello, friends. Today, for our read aloud, we're going to be reading a book by one of my favorite authors, Eric Carle. You've probably read this book or another Eric Carle book before. He's famous for his pictures that he makes in a collage way. He paints different pieces of paper and then glues them all together to make this collage. This book is called The Tiny Seed. And in this book, it tells an important message about something called perseverance. Perseverance means that you keep trying even though something is hard. When you persevere, you don't give up. You just keep trying, you try different strategies, and you keep working on something that's hard until you've mastered it. Today, as I'm reading, I want you to start to think about a time that you persevered. What is something that was really hard for you to learn how to do, but you kept trying and eventually you learned how to do it and you got it? In this book, you're going to see that the tiny seed perseveres. It just keeps going even when things get tough. And at the end, it has a really cool surprise ending. So enjoy this story. This is called The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. Has a really cool, this looks like splatter paint to me on this page. The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of these seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? Keep your eyes on our tiny seed as we read. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Already showing perseverance. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go fast as the others. That's okay that the tiny seed isn't as fast as the others. It's still persevering and still trying. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. And it's still okay because it just keeps trying and keeps going. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seed falls gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seed settles down. They look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by. The sun shines. Rain falls. The seed grows so round and full, they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then their stem and leaves begin to grow towards the sun and the air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and rain away from one of the new plants. And that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hooray! Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. There it is. And even though it's little tiny, it's still growing. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see plants as he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. But there's the tiny seed. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast. But its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud. And now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. Here's the surprise ending. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to take a look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. How cool is that? Even though the tiny seed was tiny at the beginning, it didn't go as fast or as high as the others or grow as big. At the end, it ended up being a giant flower, even bigger than all of these people. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind. But the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower seed pod opens. Out comes many tiny seeds that sail far away into the wind. And that's where it would start over again. So I want you to think about, just like the tiny seed just kept trying this whole book. Things were hard for it and it just kept going, and at the end something really beautiful happened. I want you to think about a time that you persevered. You learned how to do something new and it might have been really hard for you, but you just kept trying, and at the end something really beautiful happened. Today for writing, we're going to be writing a story about that time that you persevered.